Brigitte Bardot, the French actor and singer who became an international sex symbol before turning her back on the film industry and embracing the cause of animal rights activism, has died aged 91. Brigitte Bardot wasn't just a sex symbol. She was a woman who lived entirely on passion, even when it destroyed her. Bardot once said she left movies the same way she left men, before they could leave her. And that single line explains almost everything about her life. Born into a wealthy Parisian family in 1934, Bardot was trained as a ballerina before she ever stepped in front of a camera. At just 15, she appeared on the cover of Elle. By 18, she wasn't just modeling. She was creating a new image of femininity. Barefoot, fringe-cut hair, unapologetically sensual. The world had never seen anything like her. Brigitte Bardot married 4 times and is said to have bedded more than 100 lovers, including women, in her lifetime. Her first great love was director Roger Vadim. They met when she was just 16, fell wildly in love, and defied her parents to be together. When they tried to separate her from him, Bardot attempted to end her life. 2 years later, they married. Vadim would go on to direct Bardot in And God Created Woman in 1956, the film that turned her into a global sex symbol. She was instantly labeled the original sex kitten, a title that followed her everywhere, whether she wanted it or not. Despite censorship, it became the most successful foreign film ever released in the US. But the passion that fueled their rise couldn't sustain their marriage. Both were unfaithful, and 4 years after their wedding, they separated, divorcing in 1957. Vadim later reflected without bitterness, "I preferred a wife who was unfaithful to me over a woman who loved only me." While And God Created Woman made Brigitte Bardot a star, it also ignited one of her most talked about affairs. On set in 1956, Bardot fell for her co-star Jean-Louis Trintignant, even though both were married at the time. The chemistry was undeniable, and the fallout was swift. Trintignant soon divorced his wife, actress Stéphane Audran, and moved in with Bardot. For a while, they lived together, wrapped in the intensity Bardot always chased. But as had happened before, passion cooled. Within 2 years, she walked away, this time for singer Gilberte Bécaud, who was also married. It was a familiar pattern. Bardot later admitted she was always searching for something stronger, something more consuming, and she was almost always the first to leave. With Trintignant, the love affair burned bright, and burned out just as fast. Brigitte Bardot's life took a dramatic turn, with actor Jacques Charrier, her co-star in Babette Goes to War. Unlike her previous lovers, Charrier wanted stability and marriage. They wed in 1959, and soon Bardot found herself pregnant. It was a moment she never wanted. Surrounded by paparazzi and public pressure, she felt trapped rather than fulfilled. The birth of their son, Nicolas, in January 1960 was chaotic and deeply distressing, taking place at home because photographers blocked her way to the hospital. Bardot later admitted she never bonded with her child, saying she was simply not made to be a mother. The marriage unraveled quickly. By 1962, Bardot and Charrier were divorced, and he was granted custody of Nicolas. Years later, her brutally honest memoir reopened old wounds, leading Charrier and their son to sue her for the pain her words caused. A rare moment when Bardot's freedom came with real consequences. In 1997, Bardot was ordered to pay Charrier and Nicolas over $30,000. In 1966, Brigitte Bardot met Günter Sachs, a German millionaire with movie star looks and unlimited money, in Saint-Tropez. Sachs courted her like a fairy tale. Days after they met, a helicopter flew over her home and showered it with thousands of red roses. Bardot later wrote that she was hypnotized by him, even amused that he owned the same Rolls-Royce she did. They married just 2 months later in Las Vegas, in a blur of wealth, headlines, and excess. But the fantasy didn't last. Almost immediately, old patterns returned. Affairs followed, on both sides, and the marriage quickly unraveled. By 1969, they were divorced. Still, Sachs never spoke bitterly. Years later, he summed it up simply: a year with Bardot was worth 10 with anyone else. By 1992, Brigitte Bardot was done with spectacle. Fame had exhausted her, passion had burned her out, and Hollywood was long behind her. That's when she met Bernard Dormal, a low-profile businessman who offered something she'd never truly had before: stability. They met in July, and just weeks later they married quietly, far from cameras, premieres, or scandals. It was Bardot's fourth marriage, but also her longest. According to Dormal, their relationship helped Bardot reconnect with her estranged son, Nicolas. Shortly after they met, she called him and asked to see him, a step she hadn't taken in years. When she suggested getting married during the visit, they did it simply, with only close friends present. There were no grand gestures this time. No roses from helicopters, no tabloid frenzy. Just companionship, routine, and calm. And for a woman who had spent her entire life running toward passion, or running away from it, that quiet ending may have been the most radical choice of all. Brigitte Bardot and Alain Delon were born of the same era, icons shaped by beauty, scandal, and a France that both worshipped and devoured its stars. And what's left behind is a legacy that refuses to rest. Alain Delon, the iconic French actor once hailed as the most beautiful man in the world, had a love life that was as dramatic as his screen roles. Despite his fame and charm, his past, marked by a tough childhood in foster care, left him leading a reclusive life later on.
Very quickly and very early on, I was alone fighting against the elements, against life, against people, against the difficulties of life.
Probably the greatest love of Alain's life was Romy Schneider.
Et pour représenter l'amour, j'ai humblement choisi Romy Schneider.
Despite the undeniable chemistry, it wasn't exactly love at first sight for Romy. The German actress initially found Delon a bit arrogant when they met at Orly Airport in 1958, even though she was the bigger star at the time, thanks to her role in the hugely successful Sissy trilogy. But that initial impression didn't last long.
I know that I can seduce, that I can charm. I'm aware of it, but I don't use it. I'm not a flirt. I'm not a charmer. I've never known how to approach a woman on the street that I like.
On the set of their first movie together, Christine, sparks flew, and the actors fell deeply in love. Romy even left West Germany to be with Delon in Paris, and by 1959, they were engaged. For the next 5 years, they were the golden couple of French cinema.
C'est dommage.
Quoi?
Qu'on ait commencé la journée en se racontant des blagues. Parce que maintenant, même si on se plaisait vraiment, on n'oserait plus se l'avouer.
During their romance, Romy's career thrived. She worked with the legendary Orson Welles on The Trial in 1962, and with John Ford on the stage play 'Tis Pity She's a Whore in 1961. But in 1963, everything changed with a single letter. Delon ended their relationship, and just like that, the fairy tale was over. In a surprising twist, he quickly moved on, becoming engaged to French model Nathalie Delon, who was already expecting their child. They married, had a son, and in another turn of events, divorced a few years later. But we'll talk about their relationship in a bit. After her split with Delon, Romy briefly ventured into Hollywood, starring alongside big names like Jack Lemmon in Good Neighbor Sam and Peter O'Toole, Peter Sellers and Woody Allen in What's New Pussycat.
Listen, my parents are coming to visit next week. They want to know when we're getting married. My mother writes me every week and asks the same question.
Despite the breakup, Romy and Delon remained close friends and even worked together on films like La Piscine in 1968 and The Assassination of Trotsky in 1972. It's touching to see how they managed to maintain a bond despite their personal separation.
Why do you get like this? Is it the altitude? Or is it something you've eaten?
Romy married German director Harry Mayen in 1966, but they divorced in 1975. She continued to make waves in French cinema throughout the 70s. Tragically, Romy's life took a darker turn. Her son, whom she had with Mayen, died in 1981 at the age of 14 after a tragic accident. Just a year later, Romy was found dead at 43 in her Paris apartment. Her life ended too soon by cardiac arrest after a recent kidney operation. It's so heartbreaking to think of how much she endured in her short life. Delon, devastated by her death, arranged for Romy's son to be buried in the same grave. He famously called Romy the love of my life after she passed away, sealing their love story as one of the most tragic and unforgettable in cinematic history.
Parce que cette année, tu aurais 70 ans et que tu me manques terriblement.
After Romy Schneider, who left an indelible mark on his heart, his romantic entanglements grew more complicated and controversial. It's as if her shadow loomed over all his future relationships. Let's explore one of the more turbulent chapters of Alain Delon's love life, beginning with Nico, the German-born singer and actress from the Velvet Underground. Nico claimed that Delon was the father of her son, Christian Aaron Boulogne, born in 1962. However, this is where things get messy. Delon always denied paternity. But let's be honest, if you look at their pictures side by side, the resemblance is pretty striking. Christian was initially raised by his mother. However, as Nico struggled with drug addiction, Delon's mother, Edith, and her second husband, Paul Boulogne, eventually adopted Christian, and he took their surname. Despite multiple attempts by Christian to gain legal recognition from Delon, including lawsuits in 2001 and 2019, he was unsuccessful. Christian, who later reunited with Nico as a teenager, pursued a career as an actor, appearing in several films, including The Inner Scar with Nico herself. Sadly, he struggled with drug addiction and passed away in 2023, aged 60. Here's how it all unfolded. In 1963, Delon met Francine Canova, a young divorcee and model who went by Nathalie Barthélemy. But Delon didn't make it simple. He was also involved with actress Marisa Mel, both before and after announcing his engagement to Nathalie. On August 13, 1964, Delon and Nathalie Barthélemy got married, mostly because Nathalie was expecting their child. After the wedding, Nathalie took Delon's last name and became Nathalie Delon. Their son, Anthony Delon, was born just a month later, on September 30, 1964. But even this didn't put an end to Alain's affair with Marisa Mel, which continued up until 1965. And let's not forget the pop diva Dalida, an international sensation in the 60s and 70s. Rumor has it that Dalida and Delon had a brief fling when she first arrived in Paris in 1956, and they secretly rekindled their passion a decade later in Rome, despite Delon being married at the time. They even recorded a single together, Paroles, in 1972, where Delon plays the role of a charming wooer. Delon later expressed deep regret when Dalida tragically took her own life in 1987. And if that wasn't complicated enough, Nathalie later admitted that Delon's love for Romy Schneider was a constant shadow over their relationship, despite their marriage. Delon's deep sadness over Romy's absence was apparent, and it seemed his heart never fully left her. Nathalie and Alain's marriage was tumultuous from the start, and in 1969, after Delon had an affair with one of his co-stars, Mireille Darc, the couple divorced. Speaking of Mireille Darc, Delon's relationship with her was his longest by far, lasting an astonishing 15 years. It's hard to believe they were together for that long. Even after their romantic relationship ended, they stayed close friends right up until Mireille's passing in 2017. Now, if you thought Delon would slow down after his divorce from Nathalie, think again.
You might be surprised.
He dove straight into brief but intense relationships with actresses like Anne Parillaud, Lana Wood, and Catherine Blaney. Finally, there was Rosalie van Bremen, a Dutch model Delon met in 1987 on the set of a music video for his song Como Cinema. Despite their 31-year age difference, love blossomed between the two, and they had 2 children together, Anouchka Delon in 1990 and Alain Fabien Delon in 1994. But like many of Delon's relationships, this one didn't last, and they parted ways in 2001. Despite the many women in Alain Delon's life, he never seemed to find his one and only, or did he lose her along the way? Who do you think was his true love? And what do you think prevented him from committing to just one woman? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss.